Hey, this is Vinyl Keith. I thought I'd get on here for a couple minutes and do a review on the Heaven and Hell box set. Okay, I did an unboxing. That's the last video I did. I've had this for just about a week now, I believe. Um, and man, you know, it's so good. So let me do this review. This was well worth the money. Okay. First off, The Devil You Know, that's in the box set. This was the last album in Ronnie James Dio's career because he died of stomach cancer in May of 2010. Heaven and Hell got together for the last time in 2007. They played the last concert in August of 2009. Okay, so 4 months later, so after the last show that they did in 2009, Ronnie was dead 10 months later. So this is the last project he did, okay, was Heaven and Hell. Now, this was released in April of 2009, okay, originally. It's the main reason why they made this box set. You know, and they threw these 2 live shows in there with it. Let me tell you something. I remember I had this on CD back when it was released in 2009. And I guess I didn't pay enough attention to it. I listened to it a couple times, was disappointed with it. You know, and I don't know if I'll ever listen to it again. But since then, I've listened to it on YouTube a few times and gotten used to it. And that's why I bought this box set. But let me tell you, hearing this on vinyl now for the first time, the thing I noticed most about The Devil You Know, Tony Iommi's guitar tone, is off the charts. He sounds reinvigorated. You know, the riffs are so heavy on every song. He plays like a man possessed. Not fast. It's just it's hard to describe. His riffs are just so heavy, methodical, kind of like a dinosaur, you know, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex walking through, you know, the woods. Like on those Jurassic Park movies. Boom. 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 Everything around, you know, that he's going through just pummels to the ground. Just bulldozing everything. That's what this is. Slow, you know, on the slower side, not a lot of real fast songs. There's a few. Most are mid-paced, but they're methodical. The riffing. The geezer's bass playing. Holy hell. They prove on this album why they're the heaviest band of all time. You know, sorry Metallica. It's Black Sabbath. It's always been Black Sabbath. The heaviest band of all time. I can't say enough about this album. The songs are fantastic. The lyrics, everything. So good. Okay, that's The Devil You Know. Now, in 2007, they played Radio City Music Hall. I think it might have been one of the first concerts they did, if not the first concert they did together on this reunion that they had as Heaven and Hell. Radio City Music Hall. Man, one of the best sounding live albums I've ever heard. It's that good. The mix is unbelievable. On point. You can hear everything. The separation in the instruments, you know, and the voice. Wow. It's perfect. This is so good. And the track list. Unbelievable. They play everything. You know, from their stuff, not the Ozzy. They don't do any of the Ozzy stuff. They did their own stuff from from the albums Heaven and Hell in 1980, The Mob Rules in 1981, Dehumanizer in 1993, and then, well, when they did this, Devil You Know wasn't out yet, but that was 2 years later. But they were pulling songs from the first 3 albums that they did, okay? And they wrote 3 new songs, which I covered in that Heaven and Hell video, because the 3 new songs that they recorded in 2007, when they got back together, they stuck on the end of The Devil You Know. Side 4, right there. The Devil's Child, Shadow of the Wind, and Ear in the Wall. But yeah, they put them on the end of Devil You Know. So that was those 3 songs. And, the fact that they got back together in 2007, the record company put out a greatest hits of that band, okay, is what they did, just for money. And it was a reason for them to go tour. So, they wrote and recorded those 3 songs. It got put on that compilation, which is called Black Sabbath, The Dio Years. Isn't that interesting? Since that stuff was already recorded, that's why they did that. They called that one Black Sabbath. Okay. But anything new after 2005 or 6, whenever Ozzy and Sharon filed that lawsuit saying Tony Iommi couldn't use the Black Sabbath name unless Ozzy was in the band. Bullshit. Ever since then, they can't use the Black Sabbath name. So, but anyway, yeah, this is fantastic. Great performance, okay? Great performance. It's 3 albums. Again, the mixing and producing on this stuff is top notch. And I've said this before, I've got all the other Black Sabbath box sets, and man, they're all fantastic. They're all perfectly mixed, They know what they're doing. Black Sabbath does. Tony Iommi, they know what they're doing, okay? They don't put out garbage. This is fantastic, okay? Now, the other live show in this box set, this tells you a lot if you think about it. Neon Nights, 30 Years of Heaven and Hell, live at the Wacken, okay? This took place in August of 2009. I looked it up the other day. I forget. No, July 30th. July 30th was this show. July 30th, 2009. Okay? And you can't tell. Now, Ronnie was, I looked this up too. Ronnie wasn't diagnosed till, well, I don't know when he was diagnosed. He announced he was diagnosed with stomach cancer November 25th of 2009. Already after their last show was played for the year. So, he had to have been sick, is what I'm saying, during this show. He had to have not been 100%. If he announced his cancer in November, he already had it. Because he was dead in May of 2010. So, I'm just showing it to you while I'm talking. Pretty cool. See the crowd? Pretty neat. But yeah, I'm telling you, his performance on this, you can't tell he's sick. You can't tell he's going to be dead in 10 months after this. Sounded like Ronnie James Dio. Powerful. Emotional. It's how he always sounded. Here's the track list again, if you want to see it. Great stuff. That's what I noticed. When I played this album, I thought, okay, I wonder how Ronnie's going to sound. He sounded phenomenal. Can't tell he had cancer. But I guarantee you he had cancer. But yeah, This is just a fantastic box set, okay? I just wanted to get down here and tell everybody, you know, I had a week with it now. The Heaven and Hell box set, I don't get it on CD, you know. Not everybody's stupid and just spend the money like I do on the vinyl, you know. I'm just a vinyl nut. I don't play CDs. I don't play. Sometimes I'll play stuff on YouTube while I'm doing dishes and stuff. But and at work, I'll play, you know, records on YouTube. But otherwise, I just listen to vinyl. I don't have CDs and shit. But not everybody's gonna spend the money like I did on it, even though it's worth it to me. You know, I think the CDs are between $50 and $60. I've heard. Okay, go out and grab this, man. It's you got to hear this. If you used to like. A lot of people don't even know about The Devil You Know, okay, because they had to change their name to Heaven and Hell. When I posted my video, somebody I went to high school with said, I didn't know about them. I didn't know about this at all. You know, and this has been 17, 18 years ago when this happened, you know, when Heaven and Hell was touring and making that record. So, you know, chances are, if you're an old Black Sabbath fan and this Heaven and Hell thing's new to you, pick this up for $55. You can rock out in your car. I'm telling you, this stuff is fantastic. If you liked Ronnie with Black Sabbath back in the day, you're going to love this. Same band. Exact same band. Okay? Fantastic stuff. They went unnoticed. It's a shame because that was Ronnie's last project he did. But, yeah. I just wanted to review this and tell you how good it was. You can't tell Ronnie had cancer in this. But I guarantee you he already had it. Okay? He was just finishing it all out. You know? Heaven and Hell. Also known as Black Sabbath. Always Black Sabbath. Fuck Heaven and Hell. That's stupid, Sharon. Dumb. Yeah. Don't get me started on that. And Ozzy. Why? Well, anyway. Heaven and Hell. Till next time.